Now, we've an extra perspective guest for you on the programme today, and my guest is a climate activist who's taken her mission in life to such an extreme that she's currently effectively on the run from the authorities in our home country of Cambodia. Ratha Sun is an activist living in exile of Mother Nature Cambodia. The group claims to have a series of climate successes to its name, including protecting forests, mangroves, marine species, as well as helping to protect the rights of Cambodia indigenous communities and the halting of a hydroelectric dam. Those successes, though, deemed by organisations such as Amnesty International as unsettling for the government. And in July of last year, my guest and 5 others were found guilty and sentenced to jail for between 6 and 8 years for conspiracy and insulting the king. Well, Ratha Sun managed to escape before that sentencing. She fled the country. She's here in Paris at the invitation of Amnesty, and she joins us here in the studio now. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us on the programme. Tell me, first of all, about how this all started. I mean, how did you get involved in the first place? Why did you feel the need to act and to try to do something about the climate?
Yep. It's just like for my first journey being the activist, for my background, I'm studying as the accounting and the taxation. And I also have like a job in the private company. And my first journey as the activist is just like one of the Mother Nature Cambodia member invited me to organize the mangrove forest in Kokong province, located where the destruction of the sand mining happened there. And the second event that I went to join them is in the Sesan, Lower Sesan Dam. The hydropower dam happened there. And I met with a lot of indigenous people. They really immersed, really good. And I still remember the tear in their eyes. And also the way they asking for help, because they got tricking by the government to sign to leave their home land because of the hydropower dam happened there. So after these 2 trips, these 2 events, I back to the city and I keep asking myself that what is the purpose of my knowledge? Even if I can't help anyone, that question changed my life, and I decided to quit my job and join Mother Nature Cambodia.
And what kind of events were you involved in? What kind of things were you doing? Was it always protesting, or?
It's just like the protesting to bring the youth from the city to the first one is the mangrove forest. We create like a mangrove festival to plant the mangrove and to empower the youth to see what happened in the village and how the effect of the sand mining that affect to their life, to the local life. So at that time, I see a lot of what going on happen with there, and also how the authority treat the local community and how they threaten the people not to speak, not to use their voice, to protect their land, to protect their lives. And the second one is to learn about the hydropower dam and also to help the indigenous people, because they can't read in Khmer, so they don't know how they got cheated and they got tricked by the government. They just signed because the authority told them that you need to sign so you don't lose your land anymore. So they signed because they don't want to lose their land, but finally they still lose their land because of they got cheated by the government and by the authority.
So then you got charged with conspiracy and insulting the king. I mean, how did that come about even?
We also don't know the reason of the charges yet. And at the time, it's just like in 2021, in June, I and the other 2 colleagues went to collect the sewage flow directly to the river. And we get the sample to do the test to find the virus and the pollution through to the river and how it affects to the people who are living along that river, and how it affects to the it just like affect to the fish and other thing in the river. So it's just like after we collect the sample, we just walk around and to collect the food check, and the authority with the uniform, they come around us and they fork us to the separate car, and they send us without any like warrant, without any explaining, just fork us to go. And when we arrive at the police station, We still didn't have the access to meet our lawyer. They kept us like 5 days in the police station without.
So just to be clear, there was no violence involved in
Yep.
any of this or any of the activities you had before?
There is no violence. We do like the street protest with the peaceful protest. We do fun protest, and we produce the video to expose about like the corruption related to the environment and the natural resources.
And you finished up in court, managed to, as I said at the top, escape before the sentencing. Sentenced in the end to 8 years in prison. I mean, does that seem incredible to you, the severity of that sentence in relation to what you were actually doing?
I actually doing it because they charged us, not just only me, but the other 5, because of we refuse to stay silent and we expose the corruption against the environment and natural resources. So before I decide to escape the country, we all have the meeting in the team to have someone to leave the country to sustain our movement and to do the advocate.
And as I said, some of your colleagues serving that time in prison in what we assume or you assume is very harsh circumstances.
It's really hard circumstance. So it's just it has a small space to stay there and a lack of the clean water, and also they limit the access of visitor to visit them.
How does it make you feel about your home country? What's happened to you and what's happened to your colleagues?
I feel like it's a little bit hard for me to describe about my feeling at that time. I really don't want to leave my country. I really miss my college at that time. And we used to spend the time in the prison together. I used to be in prison for 5 months before the release on bail with them. So we feel injustice. We feel it's not fair for us to be in prison to charge with the criminal, even we are not committed any crime. We just what we are doing and what we are trying to protest is about just only for the environment, for the indigenous right, for the people right. But what we got is just the court sentenced us and put us in the prison and send them to the separate province.
So as you said, you were put in prison. How did you manage to escape?
Before the verdict announced and before the trial and the first trial happened, the team have a meeting, our internal meeting, to discuss we can't be present at the same time all together. We need someone to flee the country, to continue our mission, to sustain our movement. We need to keep speak out. We need to keep fighting for the environment. And the people who live in the country, who fled the country, they have a big responsibility, not just only sustain the movement, but also to protect the environment and also to urge the international and also the local people to put the pressure to the government to arrest our activists. So we have that meeting and the team decide one person needs to flee the country, and that person is me because I am in charge of accounting in the movement.
While you've been talking, we've been seeing some amazing pictures of the wildlife in Cambodia. I mean, what are your hopes about the possibility one day, who knows, about being able to return and continue the fight?
What I hope about, one day, I hope I can see the country where the people deserve a better life, where the people have the right to speak what they need, and the people, they have their right to protect their own culture, their own land, especially for the indigenous people, and also where the nature be protected.
Ratha Sun, good to have you on the programme today. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us there. Ratha Sun from Mother Nature Cambodia. Thanks very much. You're watching The World Today. We'll be back with you in a few minutes' time with all the latest news, so do stay with us.